Hey guys, today we are going to install our projector headlights on this 07 to 13 Chevy Silverado. We have a few different options here. They all hook up basically the same, but we're gonna go over each different option that we have and show you the differences between them. Okay, so our first option that we have is our LED halo. So we have an upper projector for your low beam and your high beam. Then we have reflectors here and then your turn signals. We have some styling in here, the little chrome dots. Those don't light up on this model as this is just a LED halo trim. So on the back side of this one, as you can see, we have the single plug-in. We also have two wires that need to be spliced in. This is for the LED halos, and these get spliced into your parking lights, power and ground. Now, the reason why we don't hook these up is to give you guys options. You can hook them up, we suggest, to the parking lights. That way, anytime your parking lights come on, the halos will come on. Now you can hook them up to a switch if you're a show car guy and want to turn them on just by themselves without your parking lights. There's that option. That's why we do not hook them up. That way it gives you a couple different options, and for this model it seemed to work the best. So the next ones that we have is the CCFL halo. So this halo's a bit brighter than the LED halo, and all the same functions are in this light, with the exception of we have 6 LEDs along the side that do light up. And the back side is exactly the same. You have your main plug-in, your parking lights here. You have a inverter for the halos, which has a red and black wire that needs to be spliced in. And then you also have the blue and black wire down here that need to be spliced in. So on this particular model, what you would do is you take the red and the blue, twist the ends together on that one, and then the two blacks, twist the ends together on that one, and then they would go to your parking light, power and ground, or switch if you want to hook them up that way as well. So other than that, everything is exactly the same as this light. Now the ones that we will be installing today are our black projector U-bars. So a little bit different style. We still have the upper projector, your high beam, your reflectors, and your amber lights, as well as the 6 LEDs that light up on the side. The difference on these obviously is cosmetic, and on these we put our U-bar styling in them. Very popular. It's very different than what else has been out there. Again, on the back side, everything's the same. You have your main harness plug-in, and then you also, on these ones, you have a blue and black wire for the U-bars. These also get spliced right into your power and ground on your parking lights. And on all these lights, it's the red and black wire that comes off of either of these lights here. Okay, so now I'm gonna show you how to hook these up to the harness that we provide, and then we'll get started on the vehicle. Tools needed for this are going to be Scotch locks, panel popper, pair of pliers, 3/8 ratchet, an extension, and a 10mm socket. So to connect these wires, these are for on this U-bar headlight, these are for the LED U-bars. You need this harness coming over here from your parking lights. And if you look at them, you have blue, red, and black. So your red is going to be your constant power, so we need that for the blue. So we take one of the Scotch locks, and we just slip this over the wire. Make sure it's in the outer channel. Then you take your blue wire here, go into the outer channel there, and then with your pliers, you just press down until it's seated all the way. Take the fold over piece, lock it down, and that's done. So let's hook up our ground. Now, if you prefer a different method of hooking these up, you can. This is just the quickest and easiest. These Scotch locks you can get from any of your local auto parts stores. Many of you already have them if you do any type of wiring on your vehicle. Okay, now that that's done, that's hooked up, we can get started on taking the vehicle apart. Okay, so first thing to do, obviously, is pop your hood. We're gonna need to take off a few components beforehand. We're gonna need to remove this top tray and the grille. So obviously the reason why we're swapping out the headlights, not only for the added style, but on this older vehicle, the wear and tear on the stock headlights has left these lenses very yellowed. So the appearance of the truck isn't as good as it was when it was brand new, obviously. So if you take a really close look at these, you can see how yellowed these ones are. These are original to an 07 and haven't had any changes done to them. To remove this top panel, we have 8 push tabs located along this. We'll remove all 8 of these, and that way we can remove this and take off the grill. You just use your panel popper. Now on these are recessed pretty good, so you should be able to grab and pull them out just like that. If you can't, this top portion will come out, and then you can get back in there with your panel popper and pop up the rest of it. A small flat blade works just as good for these. See how that one just came out? Just get in here and get the rest of it out. You can also pull up on this tray and they'll pop out. But you want to make sure you don't lose these because you'll need them to reinstall this panel. Put this off to the side. Okay, so now we can remove the grill. You have 4 10mm bolts across here. Now, if you're not the first owner on the truck, or you've done work and you replace your bolts, they're obviously going to be different size than 10mm if you've replaced them. So just be aware that on some vehicles that you have out there, that not all these will be 10mm like they're supposed to be. So we'll remove these top 4 bolts. Be sure to set your bolts off to the side, as you will need to reuse them when you reinstall your grill. Okay, to remove the rest of your grill, you have 6 of these push tabs. There's 4 around the center and 2 on the lower outer side of the grill in order to remove the rest of the grill. So what you'll do is you just use your pliers, grab in the center, and you want to pull out until it pops. Okay, so once you've released those tabs, just pull your grill directly out, and now we can remove the headlights. Okay, so now that we can take out the headlight, we have 3 bolts. We have one here, and the third mounting location is going to be in here on the bottom. Now, on this vehicle, there's no wheel well liner in here. So you'll have 2 bolts, one here and one here, to pull down the wheel well liner so you can access the lower bolt. Okay, so now that you've removed the 3 bolts, you can go ahead and remove the headlight from the vehicle. This can be a little tricky, but you just gotta wiggle it and slide it out. So you wanna be careful. If you have to, if you have a good paint job or something, you can put blue tape on down here before you remove this. That way you're not scratching anything. So let's wiggle this out. Now, if your harness is in any way, making it to where you can't get it out, if you get it to this point, what you'll do is you'll just go ahead and pull out your bulbs, and then you can pull it the rest of the way out. So that's the harness connector right here. You can see this. You just depress this tab here. Now, some of these can be pretty difficult, and if you can't get it by depressing this tab, you can go in through this side with a small flat blade screwdriver, pick it up and push out. So this one just releases just like that. And this is what our connector on our headlight will plug into. Okay, so as you can see, I had to pull out the bulb on this, and we have some odd wiring going on here. This customer had HIDs in here. Not something that we supply. because of DOT legality reasons. But what we're gonna do is I'm gonna fix the wiring and get our headlight in here. Luckily enough, he didn't mess with the stock connector. So all I have to do is clean up this stuff from here, and I'll be able to replace the headlight, no problem. Okay, so I got this all figured out. It wasn't too bad. Just had to make sure nothing was gonna arc on anything and whatnot. So got our new light here, ready to go in. All we gotta do is plug it in here. You wanna just push in until you hear it snap or feel it snap. Now we do provide an extra clip on here so you can reclip it back to your headlights, just like stock. So to get these in, what you wanna do, you wanna start on the bottom, because it is a little tight. And you just wanna kind of push down a little bit until it gets back here, like so, and you gotta just wiggle it back and forth to get it to go. So if it doesn't work that way, you can reset it to where you can get it to move back. You do have an alignment pin in a couple areas up front that you need to get it lined up, but once you have it lined up, it'll just slide right back in, and as you can see, it meets all the body lines here. Okay, so now I've got both sides in. I've gone back and made sure that the body lines were right. One thing that I didn't go over when we were talking about the lights at the beginning of the video, and I'll show you now, is if you have a large gap here, it's partly due because we actually, in the shipping process, to protect these edges, we put this foam pad on the side. So if you have a larger gap, you can leave this on to cushion it right here to get it to seat all the way. But if you're experiencing a larger gap here, remove this from the light and it'll actually seat all the way back. So that way you don't have any big gap issues or anything, and they line up properly. So with that said, I'm gonna finish putting the front end of this back together and we'll check out the lights.